Hello everyone, my name is Shane Sexton. I'm still a cybersecurity instructor, and in this video we're going to take a look at working remotely and some of the security concerns and controls that we can put in place. So this is something that's really, for a lot of companies, come up rather suddenly in the recent year or so with COVID, and it has presented a lot of opportunities and also challenges. So as far as challenges go, VPN creation and just administration of VPN tunnels for many different remote users. Adequate devices, actually getting devices to users when they didn't have the devices on hand that they could use themselves. BYOD policies, getting their mobile devices brought in, that's been a challenge for a longer period of time, but still something to think about. So as far as work from home users go, whether that's customers work from home users or internally at a service provider, we want to avoid public Wi-Fi because you don't know what snoops are going to be out listening. Tracking devices and their connections to the network. You don't want to not log those things. You want to be able to make sure that if someone logs in at 2 a.m. from a different continent, well, you should probably be able to detect that and maybe follow up on it, right? And of course, you want to encrypt devices. That could be hard drives as well as traffic using VPN tunnels wherever possible. So for service providers, this is kind of a major concern. Even service provider employees are going to be working from home to some extent, as well as their customers' employees. And the issue with service providers is that their networks are a huge target for attackers. Because if attackers can get service provider credentials and put those to use, then they might not just be compromising one company or two companies, but dozens or hundreds of companies. So service providers are a huge target, and we want to make sure as service providers that we lock down any work from home users and systems as much as possible. So as far as overcoming obstacles goes, I want us to talk about VPN technologies first. Those are sort of your first step in transitioning workers to work from home securely. Those would establish a secure encrypted tunnel between the worker and the remote site or the HQ, and allows the user to access corporate resources in a secure way. Backup, of course, is still something that we need to consider. So how are we going to back up users' data from their systems that might be now distributed across many different counties or states or whatever the case may be? So some sort of remote management solution is probably going to be called for there. Cloud protection. When we're talking about cloud resources specifically, we might want to run periodic vulnerability scans and configuration management scans to make sure that the cloud environments in use are properly set up and they don't have any glaring security holes. And yes, we talked about remote administration, but this is sort of necessary now because we can't drive around to everyone's house to help them out with their computers. So remote administration tools are going to be kind of relied on in order to successfully help out customers and their employees. So as far as the key takeaways for service providers, we need to stay on top of patch management of all these different systems. They are geographically dispersed now, but we definitely want to make sure that they are getting their patches on a regular basis and they aren't vulnerable for any long period of time to different security flaws or attacks. We can use automation wherever possible to continuously monitor VPN connections, as well as other system states, and try to catch things before they become an issue. And of course, reporting. Especially if we have a dashboard with like a single pane of glass that allows us to drill down into events. That's something that we can use to really proactively and quickly respond to incidents before they become a huge thing. So thank you very much for joining me for this video. I'll see you in the next one.